I do want to thank my family for coming here tonight. It just means a lot to me, so I really appreciate it. So what I learned during the class is that local democracy is, in essence, connection. Democracy is about creating communities. Democracy isn't just about voting, even though it is crucial. It's about creating connections and encouraging participation for everyone in the community. A democracy cannot thrive without the understanding of what creates it, or of how bonds and connections make us strive for change for the betterment of us all. This truly stuck out to me when I participated in the Diploma for Local Democracy. When I decided to join, I was the youngest at 13 years old, and my first day in the class felt both nerve-wracking and exciting. There were many students from all ages and from all backgrounds. The conversations we had often became some of my favorite parts of the class. There was such a wide diversity of lived experience, of knowledge gained that can be only gained through exploration. It's through these conversations that we could share these stories, experiences, and ideas, creating a more nuanced understanding of the community's needs and aspirations. It showed me a new side of the community I had never seen. I learned the art of storytelling and the importance of listening. When we foster a collaborative environment and when we sit back and take in that conversation, and when we find valuable insight that can be eye-opening. I found these conversations to be a safe space where I could share my concerns as a youth, as a visible minority, and as a religious minority. And that inspired me even further to continue my work as a community activist. Soon after I began in the class, I became the youngest member of the Mayor's Task Force for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I think it was the perfect way to apply my teachings in local democracy as I was doing the class. And the collaborative environment from people all over Kitchener, stakeholders, politicians, community activists, was the perfect place that I could get that practical hands-on work. I later became the co-leader of community engagement, which of course during the pandemic was very difficult. But through my work with my group, with my community, and through my teachings in local democracy, I used that guidance to truly listen to the richness of insight of the people in the community I was so blessed to be able to speak to in order to complete our work. Another major project where I used my teachings was my radio show, #CanYouthVoteMatter and #CanMinorityVoteMatter, which I started before I actually began the class, and it's been continuing for about 4 or 5 years. My brother and sister, who are right in the front with me right now, are my co-hosts, and we're the youngest Canadian radio show hosts. We do it all ourselves, from the sounds, to the singing, to the script, to inviting the hosts. The show started when I used to campaign with my mother, who honestly is my inspiration to get involved in the community in the first place, back when I was just 6 years old. I often came, when I was campaigning with my mother, I often came across people when I was door knocking who thought that their vote didn't matter. Now, maybe this seems like an isolated incident, but when we continue to go through doors and we see the same minorities coming out, youth coming out thinking that their voice doesn't matter, that their voice doesn't make a change, it's really disheartening. Very few youth and minorities vote, and we see that loss and that lack of representation. The Diploma in Local Democracy furthered my belief even more about how crucial it is to bring voices to the table and create community spaces. I want to congratulate all my fellow graduates here tonight. Local democracy means stepping forward to start that conversation, opening up the floor for a sense of belonging. Let's all strive to take that step to addressing the concerns of our communities and amplifying the voices of those who need encouragement. Thank you.